Hello and welcome back to the Join Delta League Season 4 here on HeflaTV 2. I'm Grandis Fee. I'll be joined again by Mike Lors for this game between mYi and House of Gamers. Unfortunately, again, we're going to see the Meepo ban, but where Game 1 is concerned, it was mYi to take it mostly due to the fact that they had a troll. House of Gamers is incredibly tied down to long ultimate cooldowns, and if they took a subpar fight, it was just troll to bash away at the towers, and they took racks and eventually throne.
Right, so House Gamers currently down one game, which as far as the standings are concerned, means that they still are in danger of not going into the finals. So they need to pull themselves together and they need to find some wins. Elder as the first pick is a pretty powerful hero, but because Storm Spirit and Meepo respect banned out and the IO as well, this is going to let mYi get, I would say, more powerful heroes. Death Prophet, Razor, those caliber of heroes. And Elder Titan, though he is worthwhile to pick up for sure, I'm just not convinced that he's as powerful as some of the alternatives.
Unfortunately, the Balkan Bears game between Northern Lions has been cancelled because Northern Lions forfeit the match. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to impact the standings, if at all. But that's unfortunate. That was at least a series that I was looking forward to, mostly because it's always fun to watch BBC play. That said, we have a series ahead of us right now. Titan is the first pick for House of Gamers. No super big surprises just yet. IO and Ogre banned out by mYi. It looks pretty standard. We are going to see the Storm and Ogre taken out of the pool as they were left through. It's going to allow some other heroes to slip through the cracks. I think we have a Death Prophet, Tidehunter, things along those lines for mYi upcoming, but hopefully they'll be willing to try something out new.
Yeah, so last game it was the Troll Warlord, and oh well, no time wasted. I wonder what kind of strategy they're going to go for this game.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know, this game, although it's not something completely out of the box, it's something that you see fairly often. It's not something you see very often as your first two picks. This is pretty much dropping your cards on the table, and you're saying, we're going to have a lot of damage. We're going to have a Draw Ranger, we're going to have a Visage, we're going to be fairly easy to pick off, but what are you going to do about it? We might just kill you before you kill us.
And I think House of Gamers right now, obviously you want to have heroes like Phantom Assassin, like Slark, heroes that can get really close to the Jaw Ranger really quickly and will punish her in a hurry. But also it's worthwhile for them to consider the likes of Razor, Death Prophet, and Viper just to act as another ban, because those are the real powerhouse heroes that you don't want to be partnered up with Jaw Ranger. They're heroes that can benefit a lot from the additional damage, but at the same time are more on the tanky end. Puck is also more along the same lines. It's a hero that would benefit a lot from the Jaw Ranger. Though it's not, I would say, as great in combination, is still a really good third ban for House of Gamers.
For sure, and there's still plenty left inside the pool for mYi, and even if they don't go for ranged heroes, just having a way to start the fights on your own terms would be wonderful. Batrider is probably the best ranged option, but a Tidehunter Centaur would also not be bad.
Yeah, they don't get the extra damage, but you don't need everyone to get the extra damage. Having a total of, like, what, plus 120, 160 total damage with one skill seems pretty good, even though you could get that all the way up to like 200, something like that. Either way, they are going to need some sort of initiation. There are variants of this strategy that just has 5 very fragile range heroes, and then you rely purely on that burst damage and purely on kiting in order to get away. It's possible that they go down that route, but it's also incredibly risky. I would rather see 4 range, 1 melee with someone who can initiate and someone to be on the front lines.
For sure. I don't think that... yeah, we still have people asking inside the chat about BBC versus Northern Lions. Even though it's not updated on their website as a forfeit, I'm 90% sure that it was. Is there...
yeah, I just updated the ticker, so we're not going to be showing up there any longer.
Okay,
Someone
excellent.
didn't do that.
That somebody probably was me. Troller is going to be the ban of House of Gamers, a half-range hero that is pretty scary, combined with the Draw Ranger. The amount of attack speed that you can get on all of your heroes, as well as the bonus damage, becomes absurd when you effectively hand everybody, like, 3 Hyperstones with his ultimate.
And when you have a lot of agility and a lot of damage, that gets to be pretty darn scary. So for mYi, it is going to be the Mirana. This is usually the hero that you pick up if you are going to go for that variant that I mentioned before, as she is okay with the Visage. The ideal pickup is Vengeful Spirit in this type of team comp. Mirana's fine as well, and I really hope that she's not going to be played as a core, but if she is, her laning stage is going to be slightly better than otherwise, just because she has that additional bump of damage.
Definitely. As far as what they'd lane with that instead of the Mirana as a core to set up for arrows, I'm not exactly sure. Visage Gravechill is kind of nice to set for the arrows. Um, but honestly, I think this is going to be a core Mirana and just pick up a Shadow Demon Bane.
That is going to be decent. Are there any other heroes that could put a little bit more damage on, just have a point click stun? They need something very, very fast in order to deal with the puck. It's Skywrath Mage still in the pool. Will make their draft extremely fragile, though, so maybe they don't want to go for that pickup. Maybe they don't care. Who knows? Yeah, those pickups, stunning action for My Insanity is going to be pretty necessary up against a puck, as puck is pretty darn good at killing off Mirana and Drow Ranger both. At the very least, getting in Drow Ranger's face, trying to take out that marksmanship bonus, and Skywrath Mage no longer an option for My Insanity.
Yeah, it's picked up by House of Gamers. Not a terrible choice for them, but I'm not sure if it's the best either. It's going to be kind of nice to have that silence up against the Mirana, but there's nothing super hard that they're actually locking down with the Ancient Seal. More than anything, this is a lot of damage that you can pump into like a Drow or Visage, and it's also damage that goes through in ticks, especially like the ultimate's incredibly good against Visage.
So for House of Gamers, I would really, really like to see a Zeus right now. Like, everyone from My Insanity is so darn soft. They have double amplification with Ancient Seal and the Elder Titan. Maybe it's going to make House of Gamers a little bit too soft as well, and that has to be a concern for them. But Lightning in this type of draft will just do wonders.
Okay, the thing that I'm hoping for, that I'm always half hoping for, that we're never going to see, but would also be pretty legit, is Huskar.
Spirit Breaker. No, okay.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that one too. Like, just go for one of those YOLO heroes to run at them. Even though mine said you have a lot of physical damage, Huskar would be able to get up in Drow Ranger's face incredibly quickly. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably not a great Huskar game. It's going to be a Terrorblade for them. Yeah, not a super interesting hero, but is going to make going late game up against Vine Sandy a little bit easier, and also just a pretty scary mid-game pusher.
And also My Insanity, they have quite a bit of physical damage. Their magical damage is pretty high in the Visage and Mirana, but only if their arrows actually land. So Terrorblade with high armor, low health, or high armor as his survivability method, is going to be able to tank out quite a bit of stuff that My Insanity are going to be throwing the way of said TB. So for House of Gamers, this carry, as far as carries that you can pick up, I still think it will be better if they decided to go for something like a Slark or a PA. Maybe it's just them wanting to mix it up a little bit, and that's justifiable. I think you could justify this Terrorblade pick. But House of Gamers, they need one more hero, and it seems like My Insanity think the Elder Titan is going to be played in an off-lane role.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I was kind of feeling that House of Gamers would either pick up an off-laner or mid, just another solo laner, and Puck would take the other one.
Yeah, it's definitely seems like the Skywrath Mage and Elder Titan are going to be played as supports for House of Gamers. In which case, still, Zeus, come on, guys. Do it. It's going to be good, I promise you. My Insanity, though, they have their Legion Commander banned out from them. It is a very My Insanity type of hero, but not in this draft. It seems like House of Gamers think that Mirana is going to be played as a support, which I think is a reasonable assumption. But I don't know. Well, there's that. I guess you could go for that.
Yeah, I suppose you can. Wasn't what I had in mind. I was thinking more like Tidehunter, since it's still inside the pool, and is a more stable ultimate than the Chaotic Offering, but yeah, we still don't know exactly how My Insanity are going to shake down these lanes, but I'm kind of feeling the mid-Warlock, and just get as much farm as possible, work around that ultimate cooldown. My Insanity, still, this doesn't change anything. They're incredibly squishy, all of them very low HP heroes, and it's going to be a center for House of Gamers. If you're not going to go for the Zeus, this is probably pretty high up there when it comes to the magic nuke damage, and I quite like the pick. It's also going to help everybody else get in position around My Insanity, which is an incredibly useful tool, just based on how their heroes function, and they really need to kite the heck out of House of Gamers, and is that going to be possible? I don't think so. Not really, especially with Plunk Daggers coming for Centaur and Puck quickly.
And the Centaur ultimate, as far as disengaging from the Warlock, is also going to be pretty relevant. My Insanity, they don't really have that many answers to Centaur Warrunner. In fact, they have Familiars and Arrow, and I guess the Chaotic Offering, that's about it. It's going to work very similar to how a Brewmaster works up against the Centaur, in that he blinks in for a clap split, but then you just run away. So though the Chaotic Offering may land from Milan, the Warlock Golems won't be able to actually hit anything. At least that's the idea there. for House of Gamers. And if you're not actually hitting things with the golems, then the ultimate is actually pretty bad. Like, it does a little bit of damage just throwing out that ultimate, but you really need the golems to hit things if you're going to be getting value.
Yeah, it's a 1.5-second stun that goes for BKB, and that's not terrible, but yeah, in that situation, you'd much rather have, like, a Black Hole or a Ravage. Milan's going to be playing on that mid-Warlock safe lane. We're going to have Lizard on the Visage as well as Cole on the Drill Ranger, and off-lane dual lane by Weaver, played by Grazine and Mitch on the Mirana.
And it looks like they might be running into a dual lane of their own. Slash Strike is going to be joining the bottom lane as Centaur Warrunner. A Moment might be joining there as the Skywrath Mage. He's currently heading up towards top. Malum is going to be playing the Terrorblade mid, really. Up towards top, SLFG is on the puck, and Faith and Stranger is going to be playing the Elder Titan support. They know that the Warlock is the most likely hero to go towards the mid lane. I suppose it's possible that Jar Ranger takes that role. Either way, Terrorblade is going to have an extremely mediocre time in the lane. Warlock is not exactly a hero that dominates the lane, but with the Null Talisman opening, plus already Precision Aura, his right-click damage is going to get ramped up really hard. And already he has a good projectile and some decent base damage.
Yeah, I don't really like this choice by HoG, but instead the Skywrath Mage get gone on by the Weaver. Shikuchi cooling down in 3 seconds. I doubt this is going to be our first blood, but then again, it very well may be if they really want to go for this dive. No Gemini attack is going to make this kill a little bit harder. They're going to throw an arrow from the Mirana. They just need a little bit more damage. Can they find it? H-Drum Mirana is not going to secure that first blood. Skywrath Mage survives on 50 HP, looking for the arrow snipe. That shouldn't happen in a million years, and it won't. A Moment is going to be able to avoid death and walk back to base.
And unfortunately, Grazine is going to miss a little bit of the first Clash of the Creep Wave, so they will not be getting that experience. They also do force the Terrorblade to use Metamorphosis, or Terrorblade voluntarily uses Metamorphosis just to right-click some creeps and be safe in the process. So the Skywrath Mage is going to be off of the lanes for just a little while. Still probably worthwhile for mYi to make that play just to force out that rotation out from the Skywrath Mage, but with a 2v1 lane down towards bottom, it's possible for them to get kills in Centaur, though very unlikely. More than likely, it's going to be top lane, where the combo of Drow Visage, though it really gets going at level 6, can also kill someone like an Elder Titan pretty easily.
For sure, especially once you get some points up in the Frost Arrows. Level 3 is where that really starts to get hard once you have 2, but even with just the 1, it is possible, although unlikely, the Elder Titan will fall. He's currently just going to keep on spamming that Spirit, giving him quite a lot of damage, running that through the majority of a full creep wave, and a little bit more on top of that. He's currently hitting with plus 41, which is a nice amount of damage for this point in the game, especially. Ron's been fishing for arrows here and there, just hasn't been able to connect with them as of yet.
We'll throw one out right now in a moment. We'll see this one coming a mile away, and we'll be able to dodge that. Mirana was thinking about going for the mid lane, but Skywrath Mage scouted her out and put a lot of damage onto the Mirana. The Warlock versus Terrorblade matchup, can't say I've ever seen this one before. It should be slightly better for the Warlock, although Terrorblade, he will be fine as well. He's going to be pretty reliant on his Metamorphosis cooldown in order to safely get last hits, and also the Fatal Bonds does not care about your armor values, so there is that to think about. Although he's taking pretty much no damage from the skill right now, the creep's not taking that much damage.
Yeah, Malum should be just fine. He buries out a second set of tangos as
top.
well. Arrow on top. It's going to land on the SLHC. They don't have a silence to follow up, but they're just going to try to give him the rundown. In fact, that stun is long enough to where they don't even have to deal with an Illusory Orb or Phase Shift coming out from the puck. My goodness, when you get a long stun on Mirana, it's almost a kill. Just straight up.
I think we both have to call it as well, because we're clearly both not on the ball. We didn't see that first blood happening. It's going to be a total of 3 kills going the way of the mYi side, with Elder Titan being the first one to fall. Will most of the time be at the mercy of Jar Ranger, especially with 2 points in those Frost Arrows. There's not much that you could do as an Elder Titan, especially as an Elder Titan with no Echo Stomp. Maybe he's going to get that later down the line, but by then, Jar Ranger will have level 3 Frost Arrows, and then she could kite you all day long, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's your power chit's not complete up on the Joe Ranger. Already starting off to go for one of those larger agility focused builds. Terrorblade, after going for the Tangos, is going to send out some boots to himself, and he does have the Metamorphosis again. But the Warlock has been able to come up with a decent lead inside this lane, just with the damage advantage that he's getting. On paper, I think it is not even lane, but only slightly towards Milan, but with that extra precision aura damage, Warlock is going to be having just a fine time. It's 3-0 in the favor of mYi. Wait.
Yeah, Grazine also got a kill on the Skywrath Mage in the meantime.
Oh.
Same exact time.
Okay.
Oh, and that might happen again. because arrow's going to fly, will not connect out to anyone. Grazine, though, with level 2 Shikuchi, is going to put some serious damage into Faith in Strangers, and then change his mind, put some damage into a moment. But these two heroes can't kill off Mitch and Grazine, whereas Grazine and Mitch are going to be able to kill off the other two heroes. So just trading hits in the end, and double damage rune now on Weaver. Now that can get you some kills if you find an opening. Not in a Slash Strike, though. That's probably not going to happen unless an arrow lands.
Even on the Slash Strike, I don't know. It's not going to feel good at all. With double damage rune, yeah. Probably could have chunked him down about a quarter with the Gemini attack, at the very least. Yeah, who knows. Either way, Grazine's just going to use this one to farm, not much else happening. Mitch is looking for some more arrow angles. If it lands on a Terrorblade, a very low HP hero would be able to kill him off, but in the meantime, it's Malum to go aggressively onto Milan. Reflection is there, but Malum's not able to follow up on that kill. Terrorblade just doesn't have that much damage outside the Metamorphosis arrow. Going to be attempted, not going to land at all.
Even if they landed that arrow, not entirely sure if they had enough damage. It would have definitely been a little bit close at killing off this TB. Over towards bottom lane. Oh, never mind. Weaver once again playing the elusive role. And Weaver's doing okay. No, they actually do get the Terrorblade?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I really just have to stop today.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way too. Shadow Word does a lot of damage. 3 points up in that. It took 2 right clicks from Rana and the Shadow Word. That extra damage coming up from the Drow is currently 12, so also played a part, but not as big. Rana, that was just a leap into kill. Fairly easy.
All right, well, mYinsanity off to a 4-0 start over House of Gamers. Pretty darn good, I would say, and well, they're doing okay in the last hits as well. Drow Ranger and the Warlock leading the way. Grazine kind of falling behind, but he already has a kill, and he's messing with a whole bunch of heroes down towards bottom. Has a TP out. He will maybe be able to get it, or he'll just Shikuchi through everybody. And Slash Strike looking for a cutoff angle. But Grazine, he has a TP, and he's just waiting for another Shikuchi. There's actually no danger here for the Weaver. He's messing with 3 heroes down on bottom lane. All the while, they're pretty much not doing anything. And mYinsanity, they're getting the time of their lives in the other lanes. Warlock now at level 6, and this is a dangerous level to be going up against if you're House of Gamers. There are very few things that trump a Warlock ultimate. The Stampede is one of them, and it is up, but if Centaur uses it for anything else but disengage from the Warlock ult, then, well, those golems are going to tear them a new one.
For sure. And, well, mYinsanity are also dealing with the Drow Ranger that's sitting up lane, and that's level 6 now on Drow. Their damage potential just got a whole lot harder on every single one of their heroes. It is a 5-range lineup, and as far as heroes that can really make use of that precision, or Weaver's close to the top of the list, just with Gemini attack, that damage gets doubled, at least for the first attack in the engagement.
Yeah, and that is going to hurt a lot, and, well, it's going to be Skywrath Mage right now to get messed up. I think it was just pulling creeps or whatever, so that's not going to result in anything, but still mYinsanity, they're slowly climbing the way up the top of the net worth chart. Now Drow Ranger is also level 6, so the Precision Aura all the way up to a plus 23 bonus times 5. That's another 100 damage for the team. You know, just casually with a level 2 skill. Sounds pretty good, and it will accelerate with attack speed as well. So mYinsanity looking pretty good for themselves. The only weak part, I would say, of their draft, or the only thing that could be going a little bit better, is that maybe Lizard could be getting quickly level 6, but it's over towards mid where they start the fight. Slash Strike in a Stampede forward for Milan. Silence is there, and Warlock taking a double H hoof stomp will be going down. Mitch also in quite a bit of trouble. Has already used the leap, now being chased down by Faith in Strangers. 401 movement speed for 364. Looks like Faith in Strangers will not be able to catch up, but he will have a Spirit to throw, if that's even relevant, and it won't be. Mitch and the Warlock both are going to lose their lives in the mid lane.
At least for them, they didn't use the Warlock ultimate for that. I don't think it would have made a single bit of difference, but there is a little bit of a window where the Stampede isn't available, where they have the Warlock ultimate. They can potentially make some kills happen, but still throughout all of this, Drow Ranger is farming, and they might be able to find the Puck, in fact. They don't have a point of silence, so Puck's going to be able to get out of there very cleanly, but the tier 1 tower, not so lucky. With the Catapult as well as a handful of range creeps, they should be able to take this. Honestly, if I'm Cole here, I might have even considered using your Precision Aura active. Down at bottom, arrow onto Malum, Malum screwed.
Yeah, there's not much you could do about that situation as any hero, because, well, you're just stunned, and it's going to be another kill for mYinsanity. They're also looking to set up onto SLHC up on top lane. He has no mana for an orb out, has a phase shift, will dodge 1 attack, but there are many more attacks to follow, and that will be a very clean dive from the from the mYinsanity side. Puck just needed 30 more mana and he would have been just fine, but unfortunately chose the wrong time to stick around, and now the tower is definitely going to fall.
Yeah. They're definitely waiting until they have level 6 on the Visage until they liberally use this, Draw Ranger active on her skill. They are going to get Silence on the Gazine, and he can't get anything off. He's gonna die to the tower. Scarlet Mage ends the killing spree. Now Puck pursuing for a little bit more. Has a Dream Coil. Mitch might be in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't have a leap. 15 seconds on cooldown. Is going to pop a Clarity. Has the mana for the TP, and it looks like Mitch is actually going to be just fine.
That's one of those situations where SLHD is probably too good for his own good, in that if he was just any regular scrub, he would have caught up to Mitch and probably could have gotten that kill, but thought that Mitch was juking, and Mitch wasn't. He was just leaving, so unfortunately the Puck does not get any sort of action going down towards the bottom lane outside of that Weaver kill, which is certainly a very nice one to have. Weaver with 3 kills to his name, not the most CS, still doing perfectly reasonably for a Weaver, and the fact that Jar Ranger is on the team means that Weaver can get away with a couple of deaths now and again because he's still going to be doing a ton of damage. Also, we have Handamitis on the Warlock, who's going to immediately drop a rock on a Faith and Strangers. Warlock Golem going to hit once, and I think he's just dead to the Shadow Word of Fatal Bonds. Is there anything linked up? No. The Warlock going to just fall short, but damage onto the tier 1 mid. SLHG stalking his prey. Milan can turn things around if he realizes what's happening. He has a Golem here. However, Slash Strike and a Moment are here, so Milan is just completely screwed. Warlock is also going to be cleaned up. Arrow flies through, will not connect onto anyone, but a Moment's going to be hit with the Frost Arrow. One more hit is all they need, and they will get it from Mitch. Leaping over the top with that arrow in tow, they will get the kill. Now Slash Strike being beaten down by both the Golems and the Familiars. SLHG trying to get to the high ground. He will be successful in doing so, making it a 2-for-1 overall in the mid lane, but they also lose their tower in the end. Arrow, oh, that was really close, but it's still 2-for-1 for mYi. They take a better fight.
Yeah, and that is going to be, I believe, completed Mask of Manas for Cole on top of everything. mYi, even though it's not the cleanest of engagements that they've been able to find, it's still a steady advantage towards them throughout this entire game. Currently 5,000 gold, 4,000 experience, and that's not going to slow down anytime soon. This Centaur Blink Dagger, although it comes out at a good time, really needs to be a turning point for HoG. It helped them in that last engagement to turn onto the Warlock, but they need a whole lot more. Slash Strike can't stay passive on this map.
Yeah, he needs to be the driving force behind House of Gamers. Puck is also getting close to a point where he can do something similar, as he's straight rushing a Blink Dagger. With 3 deaths to his name, it's kind of unfortunate. Maybe some intermediate items would help him a little bit more, but once Puck gets the Blink Dagger, they'll have 2 blinks, and mYi, their vulnerability is initiation, at least being initiated upon. They have Leap to disengage, they have Shikuchi, so Weaver is kind of fine, but everyone else is going to be in quite a bit of trouble. So House of Gamers, though they're behind, they still have very easy ways of coming back into this game. And that easy way is going to happen in only 300 gold. Now, only 200 gold.
Yeah. Mal, on the Terrorblade really hasn't had a great time at all this game, and him catching up is going to be a different story for HoG. He's kind of a non-factor. Metamorphosis does a lot of damage, but then again, so does mYi. He's sitting on 15 armor, which is kind of nice, but 47% resistance isn't going to do it for you. Instead, it's going to be mYi to go for Roshan with the Familiars, Medallion, as well as Precision Aura that hasn't been popped, mostly because it was on cooldown from the previous engagement. They probably don't even need it for this Roche, as it's just falling way too quickly.
It's a pretty standard move for Visages and Drows to do this. Sometimes you also have a Vengeful Spirit thrown into the mix, but it's not really going to matter because Roshan is going to fall extremely quickly anyway. House of Gamers are going to try to take a tier 1 tower in the mid lane while this is happening. Fortification is there, and look like mYi are going to crash this party. They're going to Moonlight Shadow up, get nice and close to the creep wave, and then realize there's actually no one here. So Moonlight Shadow not being used for that much, but they take an Aegis for free, and they might also get this bottom lane tier 1 tower for free. Grazine left behind. He's doing 140 damage a pop, and that is pretty darn good, though pales in comparison to the Drow Ranger's 200. This Weaver's damage is more than enough to take down this tower. House of Gamers, they're just trying to dodge a fight right now, or at least get a fight on their own terms. They're going to try top lane, because it didn't work mid, it might work top.
Weaver is going to be working towards the drums, it seems, just for some extra stats. Terrorblade does push incredibly fast, especially with one Metamorphosis Illusion. That does quite a bit to this tower, but it's not enough to take it outright, and it's going to be an advantageous trade for them on the backlines. They get a jump Dream Pool onto 3, as well as the follow-up onto the Drode. It's going to be silenced in the end of her life. With those, excuse me, Double Edge, it's going to drop Lizard low, but not before Slash Strike. It is also going to fall, though he actually makes it back towards base. No way for them to cancel that TP. 1-for-1 plus Aegis after that trade, I suppose.
That was pretty good initiation from House of Gamers. They end up killing off the Drow Ranger first thing, and when she's dead, the damage of the mYi squad all does drop because she's not applying that aura. So they get good initiation, they get a nice Hoof Stomp Double Edge, they land a Mystic Flare on the Drow Ranger as well. Overall, probably the best that House of Gamers could have hoped for, because once the Warlock Golem drops, there's not much that you could do about it. Maybe they're going to find a timing now that the Warlock ultimate is not up, but even if that happens, I think mYi are capable of taking an okay fight. Not fantastic. They're probably not going to come out on top unless I'm underestimating Jaw Ranger, as I constantly do, but it should be mYi drawing close to even.
Yeah. Okay, for now, the game has slowed down a little bit. Without that Aegis, mYi are going to be a little bit more hesitant to push. But looking for pickoffs is a different story. Puck, however, is not the one that you can actually kill. With Blink Dagger, Phase Shift, Illusory Orb, Weaver can't really do much of anything. He's spotted out by the Scarlet Mage, and that's not going to stop him from trying. SLHC dropping a lot lower than I thought he would. Is going to make it over to the sidelines, trying to kill that Bug. The Bug's going to kill him if nothing else. He's gone. Wow.
Yeah, the fact that Grazine opened up that fight with Shukuchi, which means he canceled the blink immediately and then applied the bugs. Once you have vision of the puck, it's a lot easier to kill him off, and, well, the bug does stick, even though the puck may phase shift, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, my goodness, that was not expected, at least for me, but well played, and I suppose it did come down a lot to the 51 damage that everybody on mYi is getting from this Jaw Ranger, which is, at this point in the game, insane. I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. My goodness, it's quite something. And Visage, even with just the 2 familiars, when you have that extra damage on top of it, it makes those familiars hurt very, very bad. He is going to spot out a moment. He'll be able to TP out, but, yeah.
You see that 2 right clicks? He brought Scarlet Mage down to half HP. Like, that's just so dirty. If he had a familiar resummon, that would have been a kill. But SLHZ, speaking of kills, he's going to be stalked once again by Grazine. This time he's going to throw the orb. Uh-oh, that's not the right direction. SLHZ, if he gets tagged by bugs, he's dead. And now he's completely screwed. 2 teleportations coming in. Grazine might be taking a little bit of heat right now, but it's actually Slash Strike going to go for Mitch and Milan. Grazine's still going to hit with the Mystic Flare, and he will be going down anyway. Double familiar drop going to hold out everyone else. It's going to be the Cold Drow Ranger to rejoin this fight. Slash Strike still chasing forward. Familiar status. One's going to go up towards top, will die. The other one will retreat down towards bottom and will survive. It's going to be a 1-for-1 overall, and Familiar is probably going to be just fine as well, but mYi, they can still, in theory, go for more here, because they know exactly where Slash Strike is, they know exactly where Faith and Stranger is, and they're setting up for an arrow. It was a bait the entire time, Slash Strike. You probably should have seen that one coming. He's going to get tagged with a very long one. Now the Warlock ultimate is going to drop. Faith and Stranger is just being held out with this one as they lay in with the Jaw Ranger. 2 shots kills off the Centaur, and it looks like that should just about to be it for the hero kills. However, the pushing is going to continue. Malam's going to try to go for top lane. Here comes the Weaver. Will try to defend this all by himself. Shikuchi's going to clear off most of the illusions, and now he'll chase forward for maybe getting this Malam kill. Now it's straight TP out, and the Tower Blade is going to be just fine, but the tower in the bottom lane does fall. Arrow to fly. Will not connect out to anyone. That looks like it should just about be it, with the exception of a Moment, who's stalking Lizard once again. But last time, it didn't work out for the Scarlet Mage. I don't think it's going to work out this time either.
Yeah, neither do I, especially with the amount of mana that he's currently holding on to. Not a chance. Visage is getting pretty close to an Aghanim Scepter, more than halfway there. Is going to have it moderately fast. He did upgrade his boots and go for Medallion beforehand, so his farm isn't bad by any means, and is actually almost on the same farming level as the Centaur, and only about 600 behind the Terrorblade, in fact. mYi are just getting so much of an advantage when it comes to raw gold numbers. 10,000 more than that, in fact, in the net worth advantage, and experience is about 10,000 even.
And if you look at Milan, he's also approaching his Aghanim Scepter. He's working away with that Hand of Midas. Not the most accelerated farm from the Warlock. 20 minutes is about the time when you want to have your Aghanim Scepter, and it looks like that should just about be the case for Milan. His ultimates have not been completely devastating, mostly because of the presence of Stampede, but they've been doing well enough to push the towers, and sometimes it's all you need, just another body on the front lines, and those Warlock Golems are pretty nice bodies in order to just distract the enemies and take tower aggro and whatnot. So Aghanim Scepter on the Warlock soon to be coming, and mYi, they have taken out quite a few towers while only losing one of their own. House of Gamers don't really have that much pushing power aside from Terrorblade, and he's doing his best, but sometimes your best just isn't good enough.
Yeah. Cole now with the Sanjin Yasha. mYi, they are getting those core items, but if they sit on them for too long, they are going to be in a little bit of trouble, since they do have such an advantage when it comes to towers. If HoG want to fight, they'll be able to take structures, whereas mYi might just not have them. Weaver is going to solo up the Scarlet Mage. Pretty easy for him. Weaver is absolutely trucking, even though he hasn't gone for a single raw damage item. Just Power Treads, Drums, Aquila is plenty.
And next, it looks like he's going to be going for a BKB, so a Mystic Flare isn't going to be shutting down Grazine anytime soon. As far as answers to that BKB, there are none. So Weaver is going to have a field day once he gets that item up, and Hell, he's been having a field day this entire time. There aren't many heroes that will be able to escape a man fight of Grazine, let alone, or win a man fight with Grazine. And it looks like SLHG might be experiencing that firsthand. No, he's going to blink to the safety of Slash Strike. They can turn around on this Weaver if they get a Hoof Stomp in. They're going to silence Grazine. It seems like they have vision here, but Grazine still is going to be able to time lapse away. Slash Strike has the Hoof Stomp, but he doesn't have a blink. Stomp is going to land onto Grazine. He's sleeping for a very long time. This is their opening to kill off this Weaver. Hoof Stomp is there, but an arrow is going to connect on the face of Jadis. Grazine still is going to be able to Chikuchi away. Are you kidding me? 67 HP, he lives. Mitch is also going to be able to leap away from that one. The arrow just saved Grazine's life. Even though it didn't hit the Centaur, Grazine just so darn hard to kill. And he's going to try to go for round 2. Grazine, what you doing, man? I don't understand. Not a good idea.
Yeah, and that's why. Now Mitch might be paying the piper as well. Double-edged one to his life. That was ballsy? Foolish?
Both?
Both? Yes. I think we'll stick with both. A very aggressive move by mYi. It's going to end up getting punished and getting both of them killed. For Slash Strike, his item of choice is going to be Vanguard, presumably into Crimson Guard, and usually I like Pipe better on Centaur, but this game I think is the exception, and is a great game to go for that Crimson Guard. The extra 50 damage block is going to be so useful for the entire team.
But I think the Aghanim Scepter on Milan is going to be a little bit more useful for that of mYi. He's going to start the Upheaval channel. Level 3, it's certainly an underrated skill, but it's not going to do jack in this scenario. At least not going to save the tower. It will get the tower deny, which is, I suppose, very nice. mYi going to take that one away from House of Gamers. In the meantime, they have a couple familiars pushing down towards bottom lane. A moment might clean that up, and, well, the Cole Drow Ranger is also going to be pushing over towards mid. mYi, not with the cleanest series of events, but they have the Warlock ultimate in tow, and they should be looking to use it to try to push one of these additional tier 2 towers.
Yep, I think that's fair. Terrorblade has caught up in this game nicely with Drums, Yasha, as well as Aquila, a little bit of gold on top of that. Malum is still able to farm very quickly, even though he doesn't go for any quote-unquote farming items. He's a Terrorblade, so you can get away with that. Grazine is going to force him out of lane, at least for now, but it kind of feels like mYi. They want to wait for this next Roshan, but instead they are going to go for Milan. He's double-edged hoof stomp down. He'll get the heal off before he falls, but in the end he is going to fall, giving an AoE gold about 320 towards both of the heroes involved, and a bounty of about the same.
Alright, so the Warlock is going to take a fall. That means his ultimate is going to be still available to him for another 40 seconds, which is really not what mYi ever want to be doing. The Roshan is also going to be a really long respawn, so it's not like they're going to be getting anything in trade at all. Maybe it's just going to be farming up for the BKB Weaver. That's an item worth waiting for if they want to take a fight. Their late game scenario is so fragile, though, as they should probably look to end the game now that they have an already overwhelming damage advantage. They can take it late, and it might pay out for them, but there's a risk involved with that. Lizard is going to get a face full of Elder Titan, and here's the Air Splitter as well. It's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. 400 is Lizard's going to get jumped by everyone else as well. He's going to drop. In the meantime, they have a fight breaking out over towards mid lane. Stampede going to disengage for the Terrorblade, and it looks like that should just about be it. House of Gamers, they're striking back pretty hard against mYi, who are just refusing to group up. Grazine still picking a fight with House of Gamers, maybe trying to pick off the Terrorblade before he can sunder. Mitch has an arrow, but there's no clear angle here unless they catch SLHG, and they might. He orbs up to the high ground, but you can't escape the Drow Ranger Weaver combo. They're going to chase you down and kill you off. Puck down, and now the rest of mYi, they're over in the mid lane. This is time to push mid.
Yeah. With the SNY as well as the Mask Madness, Drow Ranger is running at 510 movement speed, and with the Drums extra movement speed from the Weaver, it's actually just 522, and yeah. You can still chase down even a Puck, who is incredibly elusive with the Blink and Elusive Orb Jaunt. For now, Drow Ranger is presumably going towards a Butterfly, and that's going to be coming out very soon for HoG, which is scary. They are going to scout out that Roshan isn't up. It's almost the max time. They're going to be able to see it very soon.
And they will be able to kill it off pretty much as soon as it spawns. Like, Cole's doing so much damage, plus 63 now. Roshan isn't quite going to give him a level 16, but once that marksmanship gets to plus 80 agility, things are going to be dropping left, right, and center. Roshan is going to be spotted by both teams, and mYi, they can do this a lot safer because they only need to put Cole in the pit. I think they might also want to use Visage for that, but Lizard's pretty far away. So Roshan is going to be taking a fall real soon. House of Gamers, are they going to contest this? It seems like they're moving towards that direction, but walking into the Roshan pit with Warlock ultimate on the field is damn near suicidal. And now DD on Drow, like, that'll certainly help as well.
Yeah, extra 200 damage, that's pretty nice. If they had Medallion, Roshan would have dropped in mere seconds. But yeah, They only needed Cole. That's a double life for your Draw Ranger and a level 16 secured. Even more bonus damage for everybody. Currently 71. My goodness, this is ridiculous. Aghanim Scepter is up for the Visage as well, so that's 71. Effectively, across all of Visage's familiars can be multiplied to 210, hitting at max attack speed. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that does a good amount of damage. Plus 169 right now with full damage charges. And with the power that they have right now, they're just going to go straight down the bottom lane. Familiars can make this tower drop in a matter of seconds. Cole is not as durable as he really would like to be right now, taking quite a bit of magic damage just from random sources from the side, but the Shadow Word will keep him up alive for now, and actually pretty darn healthy with bottling up as well from one of his allies. That's tier 3 down. Melee Rax is now being focused. Plus 71, still going to town. House of Gamers, you gotta do something about these familiars, unless you're gonna lose Raxes, and they will lose Raxes. They're gonna jump in, kill off Milan in an instant. Cole's still alive though. He's gonna lose his marksmanship bonus, but really doesn't matter because he is still standing around and fighting Slash Strike. Lizard and Grazine, also no one is on them. They're gonna be right-clicking freely. Now Faith and Strangers they go. They're gonna kill off the Elder Titan. A Moment is still alive. The Malum Terrorblade is gonna force out the ultimate from Milan. He's gonna turn around for Sunder. No, he can't get it out. He dies as he turns around to his doom, and also they're going to catch a Frost Arrow onto the Skywrath Mage. That's going to be a triple kill for the Drow Ranger. Are they really just going to try to end the game right now? I guess they can't go for anything else but tier 2s, so you might as well take some tier 4s while you're at it. And with the plus 72 damage still ticking away, that's going to be one tier 4 tower down. Here comes the buybacks from the Centaur and Malum both. Hoofstyle onto Lizard is going to kill him off unless Silence and Arrow lands. Lizard's going to be fine for a little bit longer. He will be brought down in the end. So mYi, they have to fall back, yet they still take a huge fight. They take Raxes, and they take the tier 2 on the way out, plus a tier 4 to boot, and they still have the Aegis. This is just getting out of control for House of Gamers.
It really is. It was looking for a while that House of Gamers had stopped the bleeding, but in the end they just ripped them apart. Puck didn't see how he died. Looks like it was, again, just Grazine soloing up. I keep on underestimating this Weaver's potential to kill off the Puck solo, but apparently it was just pushing out a little too aggressively. Yeah, that just happened. Butterfly, now completed on the Draw Ranger. Another 2,700 gold on top of that. Eul Scepter on the Mirana, probably not a very impactful item, I would say, but it is still not going to matter. Anything that they can use to delay HoG from running is time that they can focus down another hero and just move down the line, even though it's not setting up for anything great, except for Mirana's arrow herself.
Well, mYi, they're going to just push down the mid lane. Butterfly, BKB, Eul Scepter on Mirana even. This is going to be really, really hard for House of Gamers to defend. They have no more buybacks anymore, I don't believe. They have none, in fact. Elder Titan has one, but that's not relevant. Grazine's going to chase down a Moment, and a Moment's 100% screwed. Might get a Mystic Flare out, and Grazine actually sitting in there for quite a long time. Will time-lapse all that damage out. Also has a BKB if things get really bad. The Familiars are going to kill off the Raxes. Now Earth Splitter going to fly through, which will connect onto 0 people. Cole is going to be focused down first, but he does have the Aegis still. Coil is going to catch him and Milan. Slash Strike, though, being focused by everything, and he's going to take a fall, and Puck is probably soon to fall afterwards, as this damage from all these archers is way too high. That's going to be the mid set of Raxes, and a tier 4 bonus as well, just like last time, it seems. That's GG. mYi take a 2-0 over House of Gamers.
Game 1 was a lot closer than this game number 2, but it ended in a pretty similar fashion. One fight to rule them all, and a fat carry with a lot of damage to bind them. My goodness, this time it was the Draw Ranger, absolutely decimated those structures. She didn't even lose the Aegis in those last 2 fights. They tried to focus everything onto her, but they didn't need their Warlock. Like, the ultimate was spent up top to get the solo kill on the Terrorblade, and that's definitely worth it, don't get me wrong, but that was an insane performance by mYi. Well done, and they're going to take the series 2-0, and probably rightfully so. House of Gamers, they will get a guaranteed spot into Division 1 next season around, but then again, their next series is going to determine whether or not they actually get into the playoffs and look for a little bit of prize money.
All right, and that is also going to close it out for us, guys. It's been a long day. It really has, and I think you could probably tell because we've both been missing quite a few things, but either way, yeah, it's a nice way for mYi to end for sure. They are by far on top of this group. They're just dominating it. Thanks for watching, and hope you see you soon. If you like the casting, which I definitely hope you did, you can follow us on Twitter, Twitch, and on Facebook at HeflaTV. And the VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke just after this broadcast ends for the day. So thanks for watching, and that'll be it from me and Mike Loris.